I found the tape inside a cardboard box that didn't belong to the house. I know it didn't belong here because the box was dry while everything else in the flooded basement was slick and swollen. And because the box was labeled in a handwriting my mother never used. Tall, needle-thin letters that carved the words keep and out and then drew a line through both as if the warning was revoked after it was written. Inside, a Sony Walkman with oxidized battery contacts, a cassette case with no insert, and a paper sleeve around the tape itself. The sleeve had the same thin handwriting, 3 words that made a stupid little chill slide over my scalp. The Devil's Game. I took it upstairs because I had to, because grief makes you pick fights with objects. My mother had been dead for a week, a winter-long week that felt like it held a year inside it. I'd come back to clear out what was left of the house so I could hand the keys to the realtor on Friday and spit out the phrase, motivated seller, without vomiting. I was sleep-starved and angry, and when you're sleep-starved and angry, even a cassette can look like someone leaning in your doorway, waiting to talk. There was a thrift shop radio cassette deck in the kitchen. I'd bought it from a place that smelled like hair dye and old pennies, and it worked if you pressed your thumb against the lid while it played. I set the tape in, pressed the lid, pressed play. Hiss. The tape's hiss was deep and wet, the kind that fills your ears like fog. A voice came through it, to clean for something recorded long ago. It sounded close. It sounded like the person was in the little tape deck, their mouth snug against the tiny metal door. Hello, the voice said. A man, cheerful. The cheer was wrong. I checked the counter behind me. I checked the doorway. That's what the voice seemed to want. You found this, it went on, which means you've been invited. There's a game we can play, and you will play, because you have nothing you want to keep, and at least one thing you want back. Something in my chest buckled. But not you, the voice said, delighted. Not yet. I'll tell you the rules. You'll try not to follow them. You won't succeed. I should have ejected the tape. I should have taken it outside and twisted its guts into a black ribbon across the snow. But grief and anger make you do worse than listen. They make you bargain. The voice on the tape cleared its throat, a small intimate sound that jumped out of the speakers like it had happened in my ear. Rule 1, it said, and I saw the words in my head as if they were written on the wall in nail scratches. Play alone. If anyone else is in the house, they must be asleep before midnight. If anyone wakes, the game ends badly. Rule 2, you must answer when I ask questions. Honesty counts, but cleverness will do. Silence will be taken as an insult. An insult makes me hungry. Rule 3, there are rounds, 3 of them. If you win all 3, I give you what you ask. If you lose any one, I take something I choose, starting with something you don't want, ending with something you do. Rule 4, to start a round, rewind and play me from the beginning. The tape clicked, not the machine, the voice. Something in his mouth clicked like a seed cracking between molars. Tell me, he said, softly, what do you want to ask back from the dark? My mother, I said, and then I was on my knees, and then I was crying, and then I was laughing because I'd set it to a cassette in an empty kitchen, which is either funny or a reason to check yourself into a place where the forks are rubber. Good, the man said. Good evening. Let's begin. The deck stopped. The tape spooled to stillness. I stared at it until my eyes ached. The kitchen window showed a slice of yard under old snow, a fence slumping, the black line of trees. I told myself it was a prank. I told myself I was going to listen again to hear where the trick was. My thumb pressed the lid. The tape rolled. Hello, the voice said, just as before, but the cheer was thinner now, like someone smiling through a fever. You know the rules, it said. Round 1, the sound round. I will play 3 sounds. If you name them, you win. If you guess wrong, I take something that won't hurt yet. Silence. The kind of silence that has weight to it. Then a sound rose. A whisper made of paper, but not reading, not turning a page. It was thinner than that, and it had rhythm. Scritch as KR scritch. The way spiders might write letters to Tiny for you to see. Answer. The voice breathed. The breath of a fire. Tinder, I was lying. It was my best cleverness. It felt wrong in my mouth. Wrong, he sang. Tried to. The second sound was footsteps, bare feet wet on tile. But in the sound was something else. The echo you only hear when the room is too long, the ceiling too low. Someone walking toward you in a hallway that wasn't built for human bodies. I said, hospital corridor. Wrong, he said, pleased. Last chance. The third sound was small and solitary. Tap, tap, tap. The perfect rhythm of a fingernail against glass, no, against an aquarium wall. Something that could see you and couldn't get in or out. My mouth moved without me. She used to do that, I whispered, when the kettle boiled. She'd count the taps to 3. Right? He murmured. For the first time, he sounded interested. Right enough. The tape word. Then a noiselessness fell out of the speakers that made my ears ring. I realized I was hearing the space behind the voice, the place where it was recorded. Too big, too damp. You got one, he said. You lose too. I'll take. Your sense is sweet. I laughed. I did. It burst out high and ugly. Yeah, take it. I quit sugar last year. He sighed, a theatrically disappointed sound. That's not the kind of sweet I meant. Taste will still work. But there are sweetnesses in words and memory that you won't find quite the same. The deck stopped. The room tilted. I thought about the way my mother used to call me by a certain name. Son, just that. A small stupid word that kept rooms warm when she said he tanned. I tried to hear it the way I always had. Something in it had been smudged, misfiled, like I could still pull it up, but the spine on the memory was blank, the glitter gone. I put my forehead to the counter. The laminate was cold. I rewound the tape and pressed play. Hello, the voice said. The cheer was back, too bright and too thin. Round 2. The seeing round. I will show you 3 things. You will choose. If you choose correctly, you win. If you choose poorly, I take something closer. The kitchen window glass reflected me chapped lips, eyes gone red with grief, a shape I was trying to keep together by standing very still. But it also reflected something else now. In the corner of the window, between the blinds, a wedge of black, like a mouth held open. That's not me, the voice said. Don't look at the window. Look down. I looked in the tape deck's cloudy plastic lid. The little door was a rectangle of darkness going deeper than the machine had space for. Very faintly, as if the plastic was water, light moved somewhere inside it, and then an image shook itself together. A hallway, light like piston tea, stained linoleum, doors on either side. At the far end, a figure, hair like a spill, bare feet. She didn't walk. She flickered closer, like film burned and spliced, closer with each cut. My mother. That's not real, I said loudly, loud enough to break any spell, loud enough for neighbors to wonder. Choose, the voice said gently. Left door, right door, or the one behind you. That's not one of the choices, I said, because if there was a pattern, I wanted it to be rules and arguments. He laughed. It was a sound with teeth. Choose. I chose the left door in the image because the left door had a smear on the wall next to it the color of my mother's lipstick, and that was stupid, and the tape knew it. Wrong, he said. But look what you went for playing. Knowledge. See what's behind the right door. In the little window, the right door opened. There was a room with a chair straight out of a hospital waiting room, and on the chair was a plastic bag from the freezer, and in the bag was IU, don't need me to say it. In the little window, the right door opened. There was a room with a chair straight out of a hospital waiting room, and on the chair was a plastic bag from the freezer, and in the bag was AIU, don't need me to say it, you already know. The voice paused, a gracious host giving me time to scream without stepping on the moment. I'll take, he said thoughtfully, your third most precious photograph. I thought of the shoebox upstairs stuffed with curled prints, of a picture I kept in my wallet until the leather peeled the one of my mother at 20, hair like rope, I like a dare, if that was first. Then second was the one of us at the beach when I was 7, and the water carried my sandals away, and she carried me instead. Third, the egg snapped like a green twig. The image sloshed sideways and was gone. I couldn't remember the third most precious photo. I knew I'd had it. I knew it had a color that had always made me cry. I knew that if I saw it now, I'd blink like a stranger. The sweetness taken earlier left a hollow the size of a ring box. This loss fit into it perfectly. I rewound, I pressed play. The tape hissed like it was pleased with me. Hello, the voice said. Final round. The house changed the way a held breath changes a room. The baseboards tightened. The interior hum of the refrigerator retreated as if it was afraid to be heard. Even the snow, if I looked at it too long, felt like something with muscles under it, something braced to move. Round 3, the speaking round. You will talk, and I will not. I will only listen. If you say what you're never supposed to say, I will give you what you ask. If you fail, I will come take it myself. The thing I'm never supposed to say. You'll know it. I didn't, but my mouth did, or my lungs did, or whatever part of you goes on working after sleep takes the rest. I started talking, and the words came out in a shape I didn't like. I told the tape about the night my mother fell on the way to the bathroom and called my name and I didn't wake up. About the day I told her I couldn't come for Christmas because the road was bad, and the truth was I couldn't sit with her and watch the machine that breathed for her gulp air like a tired swimmer. I said I'd wanted her to hurry up and die. That wasn't true, and it was. The way selfishness done in terror is true. The voice did not speak. The tape did not click. I told the tape the one night I wished she'd left. Then I told it about the voice that had called me son, and how I'd thought it was too much pressure, too heavy a name for a tired kid, and how I'd hated it so much that when she texted it the last week, no punctuation, just that small warm star, I'd turned the phone over like it was a bright thing that might blind me if it wanted. I said I was sorry so many times it sounded like a new word, worn smooth, a seed. Silence. Then, behind the hiss, a second hiss, breathing, not the voices, not mine. Breathing that belonged to a throat that had known tubes and plastic, two lungs that had felt like plastic bags filled with hands. Good, the voice said, and for a moment the delight in it whined like guitar feedback. Good, you said it. It takes most people longer. You wanted it. You deserve it. Do I win? You play, he said. You don't win. The tape eject button hit my thumb. The lid popped. The tape still spun. A little. The spools turned a few more inches like a thing struggling after beheading. I grabbed it. The plastic was cold. It hurt my fingertips. Behind me, water ran. The kitchen sink coughed and choked and then let out a healthy stream. It smelled like metal and the inside of a hose. The little green light on the stove went out. The refrigerator stopped pretending to hum for my sake and stopped entirely. The house shifted its weight. Give her back, I said, and my voice was nothing to me. Just vibration, please. The Walkman, which I'd set on the table because it seemed like part of the set dressing of this, clicked itself on. The little digital counter glowed 0 o'clock and then ticked to 0:01. The tape, still in my hand, thrummed. It wanted to be inside a mouth again. It wanted to be played. I remember every second now with the clarity tragedy grants after it bites your life in two. I remember the way the air in the kitchen became a little denser as if a storm had moved inside. I remember the clean smell of dish soap I didn't use. I remember the sense that something behind me was tilting its head to see me better. The voice spoke without the tape. It used my mother's voice when it did. Be a dear, it said. Put me back in. I turned, because you turn when your dead mother talks like she never died. There she was, in the window's reflection, very near, hair like rope, eyes like a dare, but wrong, because the reflection didn't match my angle, because the mouth kept going after the words were done. I don't want to play, I said through my teeth. The tape dug into my palm, the corner bit. My skin opened like a little white crescent under a nail. A bead of blood grew round and impressed with its own shine. I do, the voice said, not bothering with a body now. One more rule, always a rule at the end. To finish the game, to win the prize. You put the tape where it belongs, not the machine, not the Walkman, the place, the sound is made. I pressed my palm blood to the tape. I wanted to ruin it. I wanted to take it apart, spin it into the trash, feed it to the snow. But I have always done what the rules told me to do, even when I had written them myself to fit a story I liked better. I held the tape so long it picked up my heat, where I said, and I hated how eager I sounded. Your mouth, the voice said fondly. Put the tape between your teeth. No. Between your teeth, it repeated, soft, like a lullaby. Let me in, and I'll let her out. Something slid over the window from the outside. No, not from the outside. Between the glass, a blackness like mold that grew fast forward, high-speed rot, and made a mouth in the glass to mouth my own. The sink stopped. The house had nothing left to pretend. I put the tape between my teeth. It tasted like dust and coins. It clicked against my molars, then stopped because it was no longer plastic. It yielded like cartilage. Something turned into space behind the little window in the cassette's front. A spool that wasn't a spool. An organ that hadn't had a name and a body this century. Good, he said. Good and good and good.